Well, it's been a while. How long I'm not exactly sure. Not my city. Checking in. Um, I want to say it's been many months. I don't know. The reason it's been so long is my beloved wife of over 20 years has died. God took her from me back in November. And let's see here. Just sitting here by candlelight by myself. My son is with family right now, so it's just me. Bear with me a moment, please. Back in September, my wife got really sick. It was September 1st. We came home, and for the first time that I could remember, the complete house was dark. Normally, when I got home from work, there'd be several lights on, and I mean, at the very least, the downstairs lights, and oftentimes there'd be an upstairs bedroom light. But I can't ever remember a time prior to September 1st, 2011, coming home with my wife at home where the place was completely dark. So I thought the worst. I panicked inside for a few seconds and thought, oh my God, what's going on here? My son was with me. He panicked as well. He dashed in, and well, we both found that she was alive, but she had been very sick. And just to make a long story short, vomiting, and I think she'd indicated she had some abdominal pain. And that was September 1st. And then a week later, she, before, well, we had said goodnight, or we were in the process of saying goodnight, and she still wasn't feeling right. And she told me, she said she had to discuss something with me. And she called me by name. And she had somewhat of a worried look on her face, like she had something to discuss with me. Maybe I had done. I'd seen that look before, and on the times that she had to share something with me that I had done to upset her, she had a similar look. So I thought naturally I must have done something wrong. I wasn't aware that I had, but anyway, I took the seat on the bed and I got ready to hear what she had to say, and that's when she told me that when she got sick, afterwards, she had had some bloating previous to that, and I'll back up and explain that in a minute. But she got sick, and then afterwards, the bloating had gone down, and she felt what she thought was a growth in her lower abdominal area, right hand side. And I asked her if she could show me and if I could feel it myself, and I did. And let's just say I never wept so much my entire life starting that day. It was September 8th, and I knew it was cancer. I figured it was probably colon cancer or something like that. And just a brief history going back to 2002. And my wife was the survivor of ovarian cancer. And we were told it was encapsulated. Just to make a long story short, and that surgical intervention got it all. And biopsies were all negative following the surgery. Good news. We got it all. But after that, the oncologist recommended a follow-up chemotherapy. And I know a lot of people that subscribe to my channel, we were on the same page about big pharma and just truth in general. We're not fond of the mainstream media, and we prefer alternative media sources. But anyway, I might be jumping around, so please forgive me for doing that. So the surgery removed the cancer, the ovarian cancer. She had a complete hysterectomy, and she thought it would be a good idea to take the chemo. I was not crazy about the idea. I wasn't nearly as informed back then as I have been for the past several years, but I had a pretty good learning curve, and it didn't sit well with me. But she thought she would do it anyway because she trusted the doctor. And at some point I'll probably play the recording. She had some wishes from her deathbed before she was too weak to make them known, and I may eventually go ahead and put those on here. But anyway, we suspect that the chemo messed her up because not long after the chemo came the autoimmune disorder that nobody could really figure out. Oh, maybe it's Lyme disease. We should test you for lupus. We should test you for, just a whole battery of tests she had done to rule out all sorts of rheumatological maladies. Excuse me. Anyway, this autoimmune disorder would manifest itself different ways over the years, on and off. She'd flare, and then she'd be okay for a while, then she'd flare. So this past year, we thought she was flaring again. And here we didn't know it, but here it was a colon cancer. So, back to September. Checked her into the hospital that weekend, and September 11th of all days, we got the diagnosis, the confirmation. They were talking about it being stage 4 colon cancer with possible lesions on the liver, and the talk of possible metastases from the stage 4 colon cancer onto the liver. And between initially feeling the growths myself, getting confirmation, what I pretty much already knew to be true, and that is that she was going to have some sort of a terminal cancer. So we got the diagnosis, and then she basically, they did what they could to, she was anemic, so they gave her blood. Lots of other procedures she didn't need, because that's what they do, that's what the hospitals do. If you don't watch it, they'll test the living daylights out of you. Well, that's another story entirely. We'll get back to that some other time. Anyway, there's the love of my wife. Love of my life. Sorry, I'm so tired. There she is. The most important person that I've ever known in all of my life. My best friend. My everything. She decided she wanted to come home to die. She was also willing to take some alternative treatments if we could get her strong enough, but she never did get strong enough to seek those alternative treatments, and perhaps I can put that up on another time. If those of you who are familiar with my channel know that I'm a big believer in alternative treatments, simply because they work and simply because of all the testimonies of people that have had them. For right now, I just want to share I still don't know what to say. It's been over 3 months since my wife died, and there's still such a huge part of me that doesn't want to believe that. Now, I'm grounded, and and I've been doing what I have to do. I'm functional. I get up, I'm dutiful, I do my work, I pay my bills, I take care of my son. So everything's getting taken care of that way. But as a believer, I'm still wrestling with this. I've been doing a Bible study on and off for 3 months, trying to wrap my brain and my spirit around this whole thing. I will say this, Ezekiel, I was reminded Ezekiel, his wife was referred to not only as his wife, but as, quote, the desire of his eyes. Imagine that. A man who loves his wife so much that she's actually the desire of his eyes. Well, you know what? That was my wife, ladies and gentlemen. She wasn't just my wife, she was also the desire of my eyes. And though there is no such thing as a perfect marriage, ours, compared to every other marriage we've known, was good in so many ways. And for now, I'm going to protect their memory and say those things that we still need to work on, well, that'll just be between us and God. But she claimed to believe in the scriptures. She was certainly more knowledgeable of the scripture than any other woman that I've ever met or known, which is one of the reasons I suppose I loved her and respected her so much. We grew a lot together in the studying of scripture. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this video segment, except to say the love, the most important human I've ever known on this planet, has died. And those of you who truly believe, I wouldn't mind if you said a prayer for me and my son. He's doing okay, at least on the surface, but I don't know. I'll have to follow this up with another video. When you're grieving, sometimes the simplest things take the most energy. And I guess it's really no big deal letting the camcorder run, but I don't know if I really want to take the 5 or 10 minutes it's going to take to transfer this onto YouTube. It's not that I'm lazy, it's just that I'm spent. So I thank you for listening. If there are any other guys out there that are pretty young, I'm still pretty young, that's what I'm told. I get called young man a lot. I'm not as young as I used to be. I married her when one more thing, and I don't even know if YouTube will let me put this length of video on YouTube, but she was 5 years older than me, my wife, and when we were younger, I used to joke with her, well, it's good that you're 5 years older because women typically outlive guys by about 5 years, or I think that was one of the statistics. Anyway, the idea being that we would both go at about the same time. And one thing that really sticks with me is a memory of us getting ready to drive to the hospital together, and my little lady looking at me and weeping and telling me she was scared. She was scared because she thought we were supposed to go together. I miss my wife, and I can't put into words how much I miss her. May God have mercy. Thanks for listening.